difference one administration, the difference one political leader makes is we are now trying so hard, and I know y'all don't like Janet Mills, I don't especially care for her either, but I would love to work with the governor of Maine to stop the fraud that's being perpetrated in this state. This should not be, think about this, this should not be a red state or a blue state issue. This isn't Republican or Democrat. This is common sense. This is protecting every single person in this room from being defrauded by their own government. But you know what she's done? She has prevented local police from working with us to get criminal illegal aliens out of this state. She has actually fought back against our efforts to identify fraud in the Medicaid and Medicare programs, which, by the way, not only does it steal from you, but it means that those programs are going to go bankrupt because all the money's going to the fraudsters.
You know, it finally dawned on me. I read this stuff and I look at it every single day, and it finally dawned on me that these people have been stealing from all of us for decades, and it's coming to an abrupt halt, and that's why we're seeing the insanity we're seeing. J.D. Vance is was up in Maine today, giving that speech. He's supporting somebody up there who's running, but he talked a lot about the fraud. And I'm going to show you at the end, a reporter asks him a question, and the question is basically, why are we worried about, it's just Maine, it's just, a couple million. The Democrats are okay. They are completely fine with looking the other way on fraud, criminality, obviously immigration. They don't have, it doesn't seem to me at this point that any Democrats, at least the ones that are in office, have any scruples whatsoever. And I've had a hard time believing that. I've had a hard time thinking an entire group of people are completely without any scruples or credibility or anything. I'm thinking, well, maybe there's some here, but I mean, we're talking Maine all the way up there. And they don't care. They want to look the other, everything goes. When they say by any means necessary, they mean by any means necessary. They don't care. What do you mean? It's just like a couple million, no big deal. You're in Maine. Your state is the size of a postage stamp. And you got that kind, well, you'll hear the number. When he says it, you're like, wait a second. You're this big. Actually, you're a big state, but you're about this big in terms of population. And, full disclosure, I love Maine. Robin and I have vacationed in Maine. It's absolutely gorgeous up there. But I don't know what's going on with these liberals lately. The entire Northeast is just bat poop crazy. They hate America. And the only thing we're good for is to, work our asses off to give them money to steal and spend. And they're wondering why there's such a disconnect in this country. How would it be if the Democrat Party simply wanted to follow the law? How much would the divide get closer if we're so far away, but you say, listen, you're racist, you're fascist, you're homophobic, you're xenophobic. All right, can everybody stand who wants to follow the law? And they won't stand. Follow the Constitution? So you're really not American. You're hanging out here trying to destroy it for people who understand what this country stands for, but you really aren't American. There are no ideals at this point that we can even discuss. It was funny. Yesterday, I was riding home, and a friend of mine, I used to work in the advertising agency. And he called and we talked, shoot the poop, and hey, how you doing, man? Things are going great. Baby, grandfather, everything is going good. And he's like, I'll be in town next Wednesday. You and Robin, we can go out to dinner. He's like, sure. And I started laughing. He's like, what are you laughing at? And I'm like, you're a Delaware Democrat. You voted for Biden. And somehow you and I could have a conversation and go to dinner together next week. Because I know him. I know his family. I watched his son go to the University of Miami and play football, and now they're married, living here in Delray, and his sister is an admiral in the Army. And I'm like, you believe in law? Yeah. You're not going to steal. I know you're not going to steal. No. We can still converse because we have a little bit of commonality, and we're intelligent adults so that we can break bread together. And I'm like, can you shut up about Biden? I don't care about Biden. Can you shut up about Trump? And we can actually converse because I know at worst case scenario, there is a link. There is some commonality. And that commonality is I'm an American. And I know it to be true because, like I just told you, his sister is an admiral in the Navy. So, of course, he salutes his sister. He loves the fact that she has made her way up. You love America. You hate Trump. Okay. But you understand what the country is all about. Remember when there used to be elections where your friend and your buddy or your family, oh, I'm voting for Clinton. Oh, you're an idiot. Who are you voting for? I'm going to vote for Romney. And we could actually still vote for people without hating them. And now the masks have been ripped off. I don't know what's happened to these people, but all they want to do is steal from us. And now we're starting to peel that onion layer back, and they're freaking out. Hey, I want to take a second and tell you about the sponsor of today's video. Did you know that U.S. life expectancy peaked at 78 years old in 2014, and it's now declining worldwide because we're aging faster than ever? Toxins, chemicals, and modern stressors are hitting us really hard. But scientists discovered kimchi actually slows aging at the cellular level. Now you can get all that power in one capsule, Kimchi One. Over 900 probiotic strains plus antioxidants and enzymes that support digestion, metabolism, skin health, and immunity. 100% made in the USA, all natural, non-GMO. Click the link below in the description and use code BARRY for 25% off, or call 888-418-6738 right now for up to 50% off plus free shipping. Feel younger starting today with Kimchi One from Brightcore. Now back to the video.
So here's the thing that I've learned in fighting fraud for the last few months and focus on this issue is that fraud is the ultimate non-victimless crime. There are multiple victims in fraud. But what we think about when somebody steals your tax dollars and goes and spends it on something it's not supposed to be spent on, we think of you all as the victims, the American taxpayer, the Maine taxpayer, the people who wake up, who go to work, who do what they're supposed to do and don't want their money stolen by people who are doing the opposite of what they're supposed to do. You were the first victim of fraud. But you know what else I've realized is that you're not the only victim of fraud. Because when people steal your money and it doesn't go to where it's supposed to go, there are a lot of people who are out there who are suffering in the process. And I'm talking about physicians who are denied their Medicaid reimbursements because a fraudster stole their identity and charged for services that weren't actually being provided. I'm talking about the good doctors who do what they're supposed to and don't like it when corrupt healthcare providers go and claim services that aren't even necessary. So then the victim is the doctor that gets stolen from, it's the taxpayer that gets stolen from, but it's also the innocent patient who should be able to know that when their doctor prescribes something, it's meant for them and it's good for them. I'm talking about the construction worker who can't buy a cell phone because when an illegal alien goes and steals their identity and applies for SNAP benefits, now all of a sudden they're tagged in the banking system, their credit score is ruined. Not because...
You know, as you think, as he's giving you these examples, you realize as he's giving you these examples, he's not saying MAGA, he's not saying Republican, the construction worker, the doctor. And he's trying to let people know the fraud that the crazy people are doing affects everybody. It doesn't matter. The fraudster doesn't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. Don't care if you wear a little red hat that says "Make America Great Again" on it. They don't care. They're just stealing your money. And at this point, when you start thinking about it, And what the Democrats are talking about isn't so much that they give a crap about, the Transformers or the newcomers. They don't care about them. It goes back to the beginning of the show. They care about the moolah, the money, but they can't earn it realistically, so they want to steal it. That's where the difference is. They don't have the capacity to earn. And so, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give these Somalis millions and millions of dollars. We're going to do all this Medicare fraud because we control who does the payments and where the money goes. We're just going to steal it, not realizing they're hurting the very people who might be voting for them.
They did a single thing wrong, but because somebody stole their identity. Fraud is exactly what happens when you've got a government that is not fighting for the American people, but is fighting for fraudsters and illegal aliens, and it had to stop. And under the Trump administration, we are fighting it every single day. And again, it is every single day I learn of something new. I learn about people who say that they're claiming for hospice services, but in fact, they're not providing any services, and they're making hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in the process. Talk about something that we've seen in Minneapolis, but also in Maine. We have seen people go out there and say that they're providing services to autistic children, when in reality, they maybe don't have any children at all, or they certainly don't have autistic children. So they get paid millions and millions of your dollars to provide services that they're not actually providing. And oh, by the way, what happened to the autistic children and their families who actually need those services and need a competent government to ensure that they're doing the right thing? My friends, this has gone on for far too long. You have been fleeced by your own government for far too long. And
see, that's something I wish he would put into his speech is how long has it been? I think we all deserve to know, hey, JD, you guys just got here and you're looking into all this. How long has this been going on? How long are you able to trace back all of this happening? 5, 10, 20 years? 40 years? How long has the deep state been working with people to steal tax dollars from Americans? And we never knew. They did. The politicians did. And now it's just becoming blatantly crazy because now we know that they know that we know, and they don't care, and they want to keep stealing it. At least we didn't know. We were walking around ignorant. Hey, pay your taxes. Hey, everything's fine. And we didn't know that people were stealing it. Now we know they're stealing it, and they're still not trying to hide it. They are so addicted to stealing, theft, and corruption, they don't know how to extricate themselves. One of the other things is, who do they owe? Who set this up for the Somalians? Who set this up in every state and every county across the country so that this money flows somewhere? Who set it up? How long has it been in place? And why has nobody ever done anything about it?
We are stopping it every single day.
It's absolutely crazy. So now this is where the guy asked, I think this isn't the question yet. Let's just continue.
It is the coolest job that I've ever had, to be the vice president of this great country. It's the coolest thing to be able to come here in the beautiful state of Maine in the beautiful month of May and to be able to spend some time with you. Let me just say that this job has given me more confidence than ever that this country, its best days are ahead of it. Yeah. As much as I am sometimes frustrated by Washington, D.C., as much as I'm sometimes frustrated by the politicians who seem to care more about illegal aliens than they do the citizens of this country and the citizens of this state, what I've learned over the last 18 months is that we have the most talented, the most compassionate, and the toughest people anywhere in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, America is the best country, and it's going to be the best country for many years to come. God bless you all. Thank you for having me. It's good to see you all.
All right, so I had to switch the ending because I wanted to bring this question first. This is the question from some reporter in the audience, and you have to listen to the question because this is the one where I started telling you it's not that much. How do you just look the other way when someone is stealing? One, I guess you feel it's not your money, or two, you feel that the reason someone is stealing it is superior to the fact that someone's being stolen from. Hey, it's to help illegals. You'll be okay. I've seen your house. You'll be okay. Just keep paying your taxes. Shut up. I need to help this guy. So if we're stealing from you, it's because here, Juan here needs it. Listen to this.
Question is, what else do you got? What else has your task force flagged that
You asked you just said to the Vice President of the United States, completely disrespectful, yeah. What else you got? I'm like, excuse me, I gotta go to the audience here and whoop this guy's ass. That's how you talk to the vice. They don't have any respect for anything.
we should be concerned about, because those amounts are a lot, 46 million, 1.7 million, but they don't really compare to California and Minnesota. What else should we expect from your task force? Thank you.
It's just 46 million. Come on, JD. It's not like we're California. We're only stole 46 million from a postage stamp state in the Northeast. You can't be this mad over $46 million, can you? Not my words. That's what he just said. It's not like it's a big deal. It's only 46 million. That's when I heard this today, it like dawned on me. These people don't care. They don't care that somebody went without braces. They don't care that somebody somewhere didn't have an operation. Maybe somebody didn't get a bus. They don't care. It's only 46 million. It's better used on these people or stolen, whoever needed it.
Let me say a few things. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got biased reporters in all states. It's okay, trust me. I can handle it. But here's what I'd say. A few things. Number one, you talk about the scale of the fraud being less in Maine than it is in California. Well, California has a population that's much higher than Maine, so that's not necessarily a fair comparison. Number two, we've frankly been at this less long than we have in Maine than in other states, okay? This is something where I would say, you notice a pattern. And you're right, innocent until proven guilty, but what I've noticed is a pattern. That when you see certain types of fraud and certain types of programs, that's the tip of the iceberg. And when I see that autism services fraud in the Medicaid program in the Somali community, but not just that, I see local and state politicians who don't care about policing that fraud, that's the tip of the iceberg. And we're going to find out just how deep that iceberg is, and I suspect, I can't promise, but I suspect we are going to find hundreds of millions of more dollars every single month that we look in the state of Maine, because this is not a state that takes it seriously. And this is the third point and the most important one. I do not actually like having a contentious relationship between the state government and the federal government. We want people to help us find the fraudsters. It goes a lot quicker. It's a lot easier. It requires fewer resources from the federal government, but you find more fraud when you're working with people at the local level.
That's a problem, though, because he's talking to a reporter, and the reporter's like, 46 million, no big deal. A guy who has made a living, quote, reporting, won't report on what needs to be reported on. I'm sure if there was a car accident down the road, he'd, do a story on the car accident, but he won't talk about the fraud. And so we need this type of investigatorial agency that he's put together.
I find so preposterous about Maine, it's not just that we found tens of millions of dollars of fraud in a relatively small state. It's that we've had no cooperation from the state government. So when I say that the state government when I say this is the third, maybe the fourth worst state when it comes to fraud, what I mean very simply is that you've got a governor and you've got a set of bureaucrats that don't care about fraud. And all I'm saying is Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance, we care about fraud. We care about the people of this state, and we care about your tax dollars going to where it's actually supposed to go.
How is that a bad thing? I don't know. I don't know how that can possibly be bad. We care about fraud. So you're telling me we have another election item that we can begin talking about at a debate? So what's your feeling on collecting and stopping and collecting on fraud? Well, I don't think fraud's a big deal. Okay. If that was your city, if that was your congressperson or senator, and they said, it's only 46 million. In Maine, you're in Florida, it's only 92 million. No big deal. No big deal because it's not your money. The Democrats really don't care. And I think we have to get, as a group, have to get to the point where we start understanding these people really, for the most part, the ones who are visible, are evil. I hate even thinking that. I'm like, how can you be okay that it was, quote, only $46 million? What you got? What else you got, the guy said. Well, dude, I would think 46 million just in Maine would be enough to get you thinking, nope, they don't care. They don't care who they've let in the country. They don't care who these people kill. They don't care if they slit people's throats. They don't care if they do bad things to women and children. Just the fact that you can vote is all we care about. That's it. That is their currency. Just vote, vote, vote. We're in a bad place if that's it. But the good part is, I think we're finally fighting back. I think between now, the next 5-6 months before November, we're in a good place to fight back because they have absolutely nothing.